Welcome to Listpedia. It's time to count down the top 10 worst military mistakes in history. Coming in at number 10, the Battle of Antietam. This mistake occurred during the American Civil War. It could have led to the death of thousands and ended the war much quicker. General Robert E. Lee, a Confederate leader, was leading his army north, while Major General George B. McClellan, a Union leader, was bringing his army up from behind. The Union were passing through where the Confederates had been camping when two soldiers found something surprising. Wrapped around a case of cigars were handwritten notes. These notes were copies of Lee's strategic battle plans. Not only was this a mistake, but McClellan also made the mistake of waiting too long to use the plans to his advantage. If you were in McClellan's position, would you use the notes? They could have been left there on purpose. It's a hard decision to make. Number 9. Battleship Musashi. Back in 1940, the world was in the midst of a war. Every country was trying to keep their cards close. No one wanted to show the true power they had, but Japan's mistake almost let the cat out of the bag. Their Yamato-class battleship called Musashi was the biggest armed battleship ever. It was meant to be secretly launched in 1940, but the Japanese underestimated the size and weight. During its launch, the displaced water unintentionally caused a tsunami, flooding the city of Nagasaki. Wanting no one to know of their battleship, the government forced the people to stay in their flooded houses. Number 8. Brazilian Bahia cruiser. The history books are filled with horrific tales of maritime disasters, but this one was both tragic and embarrassing. World War II was almost at an end, and Brazil were eager to show off the power of the Allies. On board the Bahia cruiser, the crew members were given the exercise of practicing a live anti-aircraft drill. They were to aim at a kite towed behind the cruiser, but obviously things didn't go according to plan. Maybe that kite was really hard to hit. Their gunner missed the target, accidentally hitting depth charges on the stern of the cruiser, which blew up, sinking the cruiser. Only a few dozen of the 350 personnel survived. Number 7. USS William D Porter. During the Second World War, the USS William D Porter was scheduled to pass through German U-boat waters, so keeping their weapons and skills honed was an absolute must. To practice, they would use fake depth charges. But, unfortunately, no one disarmed the bombs, and somehow one managed to roll off the Porter. It was still too close to the ship when it exploded. What made the whole event worse was that FDR, the President of the United States, was on board at the time and could have actually been killed. Number 6. The Battle of Cadiz. Wars are supposed to be fought between feuding nations, right? Each one fighting for something they hold dear to them or want badly. But at the Battle of Cadiz in 1788, the Austrian army accidentally fought themselves. While scouting for forces of the Ottoman Empire, the Austrian army split into several groups. Then they proceeded to drink heavily. When an argument between two soldiers led to gunshots, the army thought the enemy were attacking. Scared, they shot into every shadow, killing each other. By the time the Ottomans actually arrived, they found 10,000 dead and wounded soldiers and easily gained a victory. Number 5. Battle of San Quito. Okay, there are mistakes, and then there are the decisions that led to the events of the Battle of San Quito. It was 1836, and the Texans were fighting the Mexicans. The Mexicans had way more men and were able to fortify their camp before the Texan army arrived. The end result would have been much different had General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, the leader of the Mexicans, not let his army take a siesta. While they were sleeping, the Texans snuck up on them, and victory was theirs. The battle lasted a staggering 18 minutes. It seems quite literally that the Mexican army was caught napping. Number 4. Battle of Cadiz. This one was such a mistake that a battle never actually took place. In 1625, British forces landed in Cadiz, Spain. The Brits had 15,000 troops and should have easily claimed a victory. Unfortunately, the British troops found lots and lots of wine. One thing led to another, you know how it is, and suddenly they were quite drunk. When the British leaders demanded they return to the ship to leave, they revolted, and the ship departed, abandoning 2,000 drunken troops. Unfortunately, one by one, they were executed by the Spaniards. Number 3. Operation Tiger. Precise formation was of the utmost importance when the Allied troops were preparing for the storming of Normandy. To get it right, the American troops decided to practice at Slapton Sands in England. A British cruiser positioned nearby thought they were being invaded and shelled them, killing approximately 300 American soldiers. Making the whole situation worse, German E-boats in the area joined in, killing another 700 American soldiers. Number 2. GPS error. This military mistake is made all the worse for being in 2002, when everyone really should have known better. One day, a group of British Marines were conducting a training exercise, storming ashore. They were intending to land in Gibraltar, but accidentally landed in Spain. It was a small resort town, and the citizens would have been more than a little shocked to see them. A couple of police officers informed them of their mistake, which the British troops blamed on their GPS. Everyone went back on their way happy, but a little embarrassed. In 40 meters, your battle is on the left. Wait, what? And our number 1 worst military mistake, Hannibal's Avalanche. In 218 BC, Hannibal was leading his troops across the Alps. His thousands and thousands of troops revered him as a legendary military tactician, but even they refused to cross an unstable path. Angry at his disrespectful troops, Hannibal thrust his cane into the snowy ground, trying to show them the path was indeed safe. It was this action, however, that triggered an avalanche, killing 25,000 of his men. For more great top 10 videos, be sure to subscribe to Listpedia.